Ever wondered if what you're feeling isn't normal, it's hormonal? Today, I am excited to share a really candid conversation I had recently about belly fat, boob sweat, and all the crazy perimenopause symptoms no one prepares you for. It's the first part of a two-part interview with one of my podcast besties, Joy Johnson, on her show, The Journey to Becoming. I'll be sure to drop a link to Joy's podcast in today's show notes. And speaking of notes, you're definitely going to want to take some today, unless you're driving, of course, because this episode is jam-packed with practical, tactical tips and answers to your most frequently asked questions about hormones, getting ahead of symptoms, and why your metabolism suddenly has a mind of its own. So, grab a quick potty break and a midlife bestie who's right there in the trenches with you. And I'll be right back to break it all down with Joy in less than 90 seconds. Welcome to Are You There Midlife? It's me, Monica. Hi, I'm Monica Topetti, wife, mom, health coach, and hormone imbalance survivor. And I'm on a mission to help women in midlife balance hormones naturally without drugs, doctors, or divorce. Are you tired of dealing with heavy, painful periods that look like a crime scene? Are you sick of struggling with anxiety, fatigue, or brain fog that... What was I just saying? Are you frustrated doing all the things to lose weight but still packing on pounds faster than a real housewife changes Birkins? Girl, you are in the right place. Join me each week as I spill the tea on what to expect in perimenopause and beyond. From IBS to insomnia, bloating to funky body odor, I'll unpack all the weird stuff happening inside our midlife bodies, plus give you the latest science and holistic solutions to manage it all. So ditch the Spanx and hop on board the Hot Mess Express. Let's do this. Hey, beautiful. Welcome back to the show. We're going to get right into it with Joy. But first, are you tired of guessing what the heck is going on with your hormones? It's time to stop playing Dr. Google and get the answers your body's been begging for when you take my free hormone symptom profile assessment at bit.ly/takemyhormone-quiz. First, this assessment is going to tell you if you likely have a hormone imbalance, what your primary hormone imbalance is, and even if it's not showing up in your blood work. Second, it's going to tell you which of your hormones are driving your most frustrating symptoms, so you can focus on what your body actually needs to heal. It's quick, it's easy, and I mentioned it's free, right? And it's already helped more than 2,000 midlife women uncover the root cause behind their fatigue, insomnia, mood swings, joint pain, brain fog, weight gain, you name it. Look, you know your body better than anyone else, and you can tell when something's off. So if you're ready to stop trying every hormone trend on TikTok, or wasting hundreds of dollars on supplements that do Dippo, head on over to bit.ly/takemyhormone-quiz or click the link in today's show notes. Okay, without further ado, here's my interview with Joy.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Journey to Becoming podcast. This episode is going to be so packed with information that you are going to want to take notes on. I find myself saying this all the time. Take notes, but girl, you're going to have to take notes or at least listen to it again. I've been waiting for this conversation. We're talking all things women's hormones. I got my girl Monica Topetti on with us, and I'm going to have her introduce herself and share a little bit about her. And you're going to want to follow her on her podcast too. And she's going to be like your new best friend. So welcome, Monica. I'm so happy that you're here with us.
Hey, well, thanks so much. I'm so excited to be here and meet all of your listeners. So I am a hormone balance coach, and I work with women in perimenopause and menopause and postmenopause. I do have a podcast. It's called Are You There Midlife? It's me, Monica, and it is just like a down and dirty guide to perimenopause, menopause, and all of the things, everything that your doctor has been shrugging off, not sharing with you, telling you everything's in your head. I've gone through the journey. I've gone through it all. I've been in your shoes. If you're sitting there going, what's a hormone? That was me. So I just break it down so like it all makes sense. And then my approach is completely natural. So my tagline is balance your hormones naturally without drugs, doctors, or divorce, because our husbands and our families are going through this too. So if you have any questions about what's going on, just head on over there, follow the show, and we tackle it all.
Yes, I love it. I think we met we probably met. I think we started our podcast the same time.
We
That's
did.
how we connected. Yes.
We did.
Yes, and so we've gone back and forth on voice notes quite a few times, and I can't wait for all of you to go follow her and to go. Like, one of the things I love about your podcast is it's just like straight fact. And so like I appreciate that so much in a world with so much information and misinformation, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna get right into it. And what I did, I think we could this could be like a 14-hour podcast. Like, we're both just like super chatty. And so I knew that. And what I wanted to do is I actually was able to get some questions from the women that make up the Joyful Fit Life community. So you can also head into the show notes for how to be a part of the community, but we're going to get right into it. And so the first question I have is, I'm going to just read it verbatim. As a woman going through her infertility journey, what advice would you give us to make sure that we are being proactive in ensuring our hormones are not manipulated in the things that we consume?
Okay. So first off, I'm so sorry you're going through that.
Yeah, actually, I do want to pause, and because thank you. Like, this is a sensitive subject, and there's so many women who are going through this, and so I'm so glad that you were brave enough to ask this question. Sorry, Monica. I just wanted to say that.
No. Yeah. I'm kind of full transparency. I deal with women that are kind of on the other end of trying to have children. But many have experienced struggles with infertility. Many have experienced, miscarriages. And a lot of it is linked to hormones. And so while I don't deal directly helping women get pregnant, I actually have counseled and coached women in their early 20s who are dealing with some hormonal imbalances that could prevent them from having children. Two major hormone imbalances that affect our fertility. Number one is low progesterone. And what low progesterone does is it helps thicken our uterine lining and supports implantation of the fertilized egg. So sometimes if you're unable to either get pregnant or carry a child to term, your doctor might test your progesterone levels and might decide to give you some synthetic or bioidentical progesterone therapy in order to try and make carrying a child more viable. The second hormone imbalance, it's one of the most undiagnosed hormonal imbalances of women of any age, as long as they're able to reproduce. So age 12 or 13, when you get your you get your period on, is PCOS, which stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome. And PCOS actually disrupts ovulation. We know we need to ovulate in order to have a fertilized egg. And so PCOS can also affect egg quality. So sometimes you're ovulating, but not maybe regularly, but it also affects the quality of your egg, which can also lead to miscarriage. So those are the two main hormone imbalances. Now, there's also hormone disruptors. And what that means is they're not necessarily imbalances, but they're things in our lifestyle that contribute to these imbalances. So, for instance, a lot of women don't realize this, that hormones are shaped long before we get into perimenopause. So as women with children or daughters who were maybe worried about, their ability to get pregnant, there are things that they're doing right now that could be helping or hurting their ability to get pregnant. And these same factors, incidentally, are things that you should actually be looking at yourself if you are still hoping to get pregnant and are having some fertility issues. So processed foods, plastics, caffeine, medicines, hormonal contraception, toxins in our water. I mean, I could go on and on and on about all the things in our lifestyle. The other thing is early trauma. So a lot of people don't know this, but they're doing a lot of studies lately that are linking early childhood and teenage trauma to chronic disease later in life, hormone imbalance later in life, specifically cortisol dysregulation. So like adrenal fatigue or elevated cortisol, as well as autoimmune conditions, things like fibromyalgia. So the more childhood trauma you have, they actually have a test and you can take a score, you get a score, and the higher your score, the higher your likelihood to develop something later in life. Doesn't mean it can't be reversed. It's just a contributing factor. So all of these things lead to either hormone imbalance or hormone resilience later in life, depending upon how you take care of yourself now.
Right. Let's back up because you listed off so many.
Yes.
The first one being processed foods. I think that was your first one.
Yes.
What are like the big no-nos? Like absolutely, if you had to give like a top 3 things, and then caffeine is a whole other other animal, I feel like. But like, what would be like your top, like Monica's top 3 and maybe you probably even have a podcast episode about this. But what would be like your top 3 things where you're like, if you can avoid these things at all costs, please do?
Number 1, anything white for the most part. I'm talking sugar, white flour, white rice.
Like when you say sugar, you're talking about cane sugar?
Cane sugar. Really any sugar aside from monk fruit or stevia.
What about like coconut sugar?
No, erythritol I'm on the fence about. Some people say it's okay. Some people not. No beet sugar, no coconut sugar, no molasses, no honey, no agave. I have women all the time that tell me I'm eating a healthy diet. I don't understand what's going on. And then I dive into their food and nutrition via like an audit on MyFitnessPal.
Right.
I'm like, you're consuming all of these things that are spiking your blood sugar. Which is leading to insulin sensitivity, which is leading to unsupported cortisol levels. Every time your insulin spikes, your cortisol spikes. So while those are healthier types of sugars and may even have strong nutritional properties on their own, if you're looking at somebody who has a hormonal imbalance or who is insulin resistant and trying to lose weight, anything that has a blood sugar altering substance in it is a no-no. So processed, simple carbs, number 1. Number 2, seed oils. So I
heard this recently, not even like a spray, like only the oil.
Yes. Coconut. Full disclosure, I use coconut oil spray and I use olive oil spray, organic.
Okay.
Extra virgin olive oil spray and not extra, but just organic coconut oil spray without incident. Those are fine.
Okay.
But all the other oils. And the thing about it is it's easy to control at home. It's hard. There's apps out there that you can like free apps or pay to use apps that you type in your zip code and it'll tell you like these are the restaurants that cook without seed oils, and it's like slim pickings. So I'm not saying like some women will be like, well, what can I eat if I can't eat this and I can't eat that? And I'm like, look, you're not doing this 100% of the time. It's becoming more self-aware and controlling the things that you can control when you can control them. It's not, this is a lifestyle change. It's not a diet.
Thank you.
So, and you know, people all also ask me like, so you never have like takeout, or you never have like, you know, apple pie, and you never have, you know, like Christmas cookies? And I'm like, of course I do. Like, food is enjoyment, but not every meal has to be like this event where you're raising your, you know, your blood sugar, and you're raising all your feel good, you know, dopamine and serotonin and all of that. Like, there's other ways to do it. Meanwhile, you know, you're tanking your hormones, you're not sleeping through the night, you have no energy, you can't lose weight. Like, you got to pick and choose, right? So I say 80% of the time you try and stick to the healthy lifestyle, and 20% of the time you have the margarita on your cruise, you know. You do you know. So that way it can be a lifestyle. You can't sustain 100% you know, healthy lifestyle all the time. We don't live in a world that supports that.
So good. What about, this is one, okay, so you said sugar, processed food, sugar, seed oils, and then
anything, well, processed foods like is one kind of.
Oh yeah, anything white
in particular. Just because it's all going to be, unless it's a coconut, you know. or it's like almond, you know, anything almond milk, cashew milk, you know, you're pretty safe. Coconut milk, you're pretty safe with those, as long as it's not being sweetened with something other than monk fruit, stevia, or erythritol.
So you mentioned those apps. Have you heard of the Fig app?
I have not.
So the Fig app, I just like discovered this one, and you can put in, it is a paid, but you get a trial. I'd like to know, I was wondering if you knew, because then I wanted to get your feedback, but you can put in like, you know, what you're trying to avoid. And I like it because it gives you like yellow, green, or red. And it's like, if you can eat this food, so you scan the package, and it was like, you could scan the package and it tells you green, and then it tells you if it says yellow or red, it highlights why it's yellow or red. And it does have the option to give you like restaurants and stuff, right? But like, I want to park there real quick. Like you were saying, this is a lifestyle. And I know we're only on the first question, but I want women to like, they need to ask themselves this, like, is investing in, but this is going to take so much of my time. What do you mean I have to cook more? I have to prepare more, right? And it's like, like, what do we say? The big C word. We live out of convenience, right? We live out of convenience. Starbucks is so quick. Drive-thrus are so quick. Blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, like what you're choosing to spend your time on is also what you're investing in, right? Like, wouldn't you say the time that you get to spend cutting up, I don't know, sweet potatoes to roast them in the air fryer or whatever you do, the time you spend looking up recipes or trying something new is also an investment in your health. When you decide to not take responsibility because you're quote unquote too busy, are you too busy to fight for your health? Are you too busy to steward your health? Like that, I feel like that's like it's such a weight, but it should be a healthy weight, right? To understand, no, that this is what I have to do, not just for me, but for also for my family. Like we live in such a different time, isn't our food is, especially here in the United States, our food is horrible.
Yeah, I agree with you. I will also say, full confession, I am a convenience girl. So I've been dealing with hormonal imbalance for the last 15 years. And back when I started, I literally had to like spiralize a zucchini. There was no spiralized zucchini that I could buy in the grocery store in the fresh section or the frozen section. If I wanted cauliflower rice, because I couldn't have rice, I'd literally have to like chop up a cauliflower in my food processor. Now, like It's pretty easy to adjust your lifestyle. Yes, it's an adjustment. I'm not going to lie, but like I just get a bag of frozen cauliflower from Trader Joe's and heat it up.
Right.
I just get, the zucchini noodles from, whatever store, Barron's or Sprouts or whatever, and, make my pasta with it. There's actually companies like Jovial that will make grain-free pasta. Yes, it's made with cassava flour and that's very carb dense. But when I want to have pasta now, I can have it. I can make it for myself and my husband and just make sure it's got enough protein and veggies with it. And it's wonderful. And I don't have to feel like I'm going without. I can go to Chipotle and tell them what they can put on the bowl. And then I know back home, I've got some stuff that I can throw in. I've got Manchego cheese already, shredded that I can throw in there. I've got avocado chopped up that I can throw in there. I've got things that I know that I can add. I don't need the beans and the rice and the other stuff that they put in. I'll go to Sprouts and I'll get rotisserie chicken that's already chopped up for me, and I'll throw it into my egg life tortillas and along with some pico de gallo and some avocado salsa, and I'll microwave my sweet potato, and it literally takes me 10 minutes to make a dinner. You don't have to food prep if you don't want to food prep. That's up to you. Like, how you do it is how you do it. And that's the key. Like, I have women from all walks of life that wind up working with me. Some are stay-at-home moms. Some are like empty nesters and retired. Some have like they're taking care of elderly parents. They've got kids at home. They've got a job or a business. Some love to cook. Some hate to cook. Like I have to meet women where they're at in order for them to make this a realistic lifestyle. So it can be done. Yes, you're going to have to make a change, but you can work kind of within your lifestyle and your parameters. It doesn't have to be, there's not just one way to do it.
I love that. And maybe that took the pressure off of someone who's been like, I know that I need to change, because health, if we're not attentive to it, it's like, what are you waiting for? Are you waiting for a diagnosis? Are you waiting? And again, I'm not talking about like infertility. I know like the initial question, like I want to be sensitive to that. But in terms of like, what you're not changing, you're choosing in terms of like, this is all great information. What are you going to do with it at the end of the day? Are you going to go look for the, frozen cauliflower, or you're going to say, no, it's too hard? We learn by trying new things, right? And we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say that like a lot of the women that I work with, their biggest hesitation is they don't want to cook 2 meals. So there's the meal for the kids, and then there's the meal for them. There's the meal for their husband, and then there's the meal for them. So we have some real conversations. Number one, the kids don't have to eat the chicken fingers and the pizza and all of the other things. Number two, there's ways that you could make the pizza and the chicken fingers and things that you could eat, not all the time, but you could eat on occasion. And number three, I hate to say this, but I've had these conversations. If your husband doesn't like what you're cooking, tell him to go get takeout or cook something for himself. He's fully capable. This is your health. But I will also tell you, I've literally had husbands get on the phone in the middle of a conversation with a client and say, I tasted your tortilla soup and it was really good. Or I tasted your, pork loin, blah, 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 blah recipe. And oh my gosh, can't get enough of it. Like, this stuff is good. Like, I don't put anything in my cookbooks that I didn't make for my daughter and my husband and that they liked it and that I liked it. I don't believe you have to eat stuff that tastes gross. I have a sister who used to be a bodybuilder. And I remember one time I asked her like what she ate for breakfast. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to be like her and I'm going to copy what she did. And I had like these, steel cut oats, and I had like cut up apples. And then she told me to put eggs in there, like egg whites. And I'm eating this oatmeal, and there was these like chunks of egg whites in my oatmeal, and I just wanted to yak. And I was like, do you like this? And she's like, no. And I'm like,
Mhm.
well, why do you eat it? And she's like, well, I'm building muscle and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, unless you want to be a bodybuilder, like you don't have to eat stuff that you don't want to eat. There's so many foods out there. I don't make
Yeah.
anybody eat anything that they don't want to eat.
Mhm. So good. You don't gotta chug egg whites.
No, God, nasty.
Oh my gosh.
I
Okay, we're like,
don't know. Okay.
okay, kind of back on track. Let me go to the next question. I don't even know if we answered that first question about infertility. But you did. You talked about the two different hormones. What are some practical ways we can get ahead of abrupt hormonal changes?
Great question. Whoever asked that, she's thinking ahead. She's talking my language. Okay, so I'm getting that a lot of your listeners may be in their 30s, which just FYI, perimenopause can start in your mid 30s.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked with women in their mid 30s. Usually, it used to be around age 41, 42, but not gonna lie, it's getting earlier and earlier. I just think because of all of the stuff in our stuff, quite
Right.
frankly, women are entering it earlier. So for a woman in her 30s, we really want to hone in on particular what she's doing, what her lifestyle looks like currently that could either be helping her hormones down the line or contributing to imbalance. So,
Mm-hmm.
number one, chronic stress and multitasking. Most most women in their 30s that I know are in this state of just running ragged and being
Right.
all the things all the time. And
Mm-hmm. Wearing all the hats.
wearing all of the hats. And that's dangerous for your hormones because number one, anytime you're stressed, even if you feel like you're managing it properly, your body's going to be responding. And our stress hormone is cortisol. And so when we're stressed, our cortisol rises. And when we're stressed for chronically long periods of time, that can turn into a hormonal imbalance called elevated cortisol or adrenal fatigue, which just means your adrenals have basically run out of the stuff that it needs to create cortisol.
Mm.
What women don't know is that the body prioritizes creating cortisol above all other hormones. And the reason being is that is our survival hormone. It's like,
Mm.
back in the day when, we saw a saber-toothed tiger, our adrenaline, shot up and our cortisol shot up and said, run or you're going to be eaten, right? It's our survival hormone. So when we're running low on cortisol, our body is amazing, first of all, that is able to replicate cortisol. Sorry, my crazy corgis barking. Our body is able to replicate cortisol, making it from other raw materials. The bad news is the raw materials that it steals from is progesterone, which we just had a conversation about.
Yeah.
Fertility. I mean, progesterone, you need it for a lot of things. Fertility is one of them. But so that can automatically create two hormone imbalances. It can create high cortisol, elevated cortisol, or adrenal fatigue, and it can also create low progesterone. So that's the first thing that we need to zone in on is what is our lifestyle? How are we relieving, preventing, and managing stress? That's number one. Number two, you mentioned this earlier, is caffeine and alcohol. Most
Caffeine.
women are like living on caffeine. And I'm not just saying coffee. Coffee is my caffeine drug of choice. But I know a lot of women and have a lot of women who are clients that don't drink coffee. They're tea drinkers or they're energy drinkers, which is
Mm-hmm.
like worse than coffee, right? And what's happening is two things: both alcohol and caffeine tax our liver, and our liver is responsible for detoxifying all of the things, all of the excess hormones and chemicals and all of that out of our body. So it makes our liver's job extremely difficult. In addition, both caffeine and alcohol spike our cortisol. So there again, we've got that cortisol connection. The third thing, and we just had a conversation about this, is processed food and takeout. It's the sugar and it's the refined carbs that trigger blood sugar swings. So what happens is once we get into that mode of our blood sugar going up and down, it starts to affect and bleed over into our other hormones, our hormone balance, specifically our balance of estrogen to progesterone. There's a lot of different ways that this can occur, but the bottom line is it leads to something called estrogen dominance, in which the levels of estrogen are unopposed by progesterone. Again, we talked about low progesterone being a very common hormone imbalance. Sometimes, though, you can have excess estrogen, even though estrogen is declining in your starts to decline in your 30s and perimenopause. There are lots of foods that we have that contain hormones, like dairy, like commercially processed beef and poultry, even toxins in our water that cows are drinking and sheep are drinking, and so we're ingesting the meat that is then laden with hormones because the animal that it comes from drank the water with the hormones. So the end result is estrogen dominance. And estrogen dominance is one of the most common hormone imbalances I see in women in perimenopause. And it comes with a slew of symptoms that affect your sleep, your energy, your mood, your body composition, the whole thing. And then the next one is hormonal birth control. So most women, not all women, but most women who are no longer planning to have a family but can still get pregnant want to make sure that they're not pregnant. And so, we go to our doctor, and our doctor gives us a lot of hormonal birth control options. Mm-hmm. The pill, being the easiest. But a lot of women don't realize is that anytime we're taking hormonal birth control, it is not only suppressing ovulation, but it is stopping our natural production and flow of hormones. And that has consequences down the line. It also can deplete key nutrients that our bodies need. And nutrient deficiencies are a contributing cause to hormonal imbalance. So you kind of have this, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Bottom line is you need to find something else besides a hormonal birth control that is going to work for you, but not contribute to hormone balance down the line. And then lastly is sedentary lifestyle. How many times do I hear from women, oh my gosh, I need to exercise, but I have no time to exercise. I get up early, I get the kids to school, I work, I come home, I have to make dinner. And by the time, dinner's made, when am I supposed to exercise that? When do I exercise? The problem, yes, I want you to exercise. I'm never going to say don't exercise. There's so many benefits to it. But the chief problem is being sedentary, which doesn't necessarily mean not exercising. It means sitting on our bums 8 hours a day at a computer. If you're a teacher, if you're a nurse, if you're, a helping professional and you're on your feet all day, much better. But if you're at a computer, hello, I'm at my computer every single day. I do all of my business virtually. So I'm talking to women sitting on my bum, working on the computer on my podcast. And so what happens is being sedentary lowers your insulin sensitivity. And what that does, not only does that affect your blood sugar, which, as we talked about, affects your cortisol, affects your ability to lose weight, all of the things, but it also affects your thyroid. And thyroid controls everything, affects every system in our body. So those are the things that are driving hormonal imbalance for the most part in your 30s. So what are some things that somebody could do right now that's listening? Okay, they're like, okay, that's great for the background information. Just give me the bullet, Monica, right? Number one, increase your protein. Aim for 25 to 30 grams of protein a meal. If you're not tracking it, you should be. I don't care if you're not tracking your calories. I don't care if you're not tracking your healthy fats and your fibrous carbs. All those things are important. And if you were working with me, I would explain to you why and help you do it. But at the very least, track your protein. that is going to stabilize your blood sugar. That is going to improve your lean muscle mass, which is going to improve your metabolism. And it's also going to support your progesterone, which, as we've just mentioned, is so, so critical, especially in your 30s. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is, yes, get off your bum, especially if you're sedentary. But if I could pick any exercise for you, and I don't know if you agree with this, I'd love to hear your thoughts, but I would say resistance train. 3 to 4 times a week if you can, because it's going to get your metabolism moving. It is going to level out your insulin. It's going to support your estrogen. It's going to support your lean muscle mass. It's detoxifying for your hormones. It can even help if you have a thyroid issue. Okay. So that is my number one. And as we lose muscle mass after the age of 40, it's especially crucial. And I know we're talking about, okay, I'm in my 30s. I'm thinking about perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause. But a lot of the women that I work with are, postmenopause. They're in their 50s or even 60s. And they're like, okay, they're thinking ahead because they're like, I don't want to be like my mom and passing away from, a heart attack in my 70s, or I don't want to be confined to a wheelchair, or I want to be able to not just see pictures of my grandkids, on their hiking trip. I want to be on that hiking trip. So how can I be healthy and active? And the number one way to stay healthy and active is to support your heart and to support your bones and to support your muscles. Falls, hate to say it, but falls is the number one killer of elderly women. And God willing, we'll all be there, right? We're all going to hopefully be in our 80s. That's the number one way to go, ladies, because once we fall, we don't have the bone strength and we don't have the muscle mass, and it does detrimental damage to our bodies that we cannot recover from. So as a woman in your 30s, I think it's amazing you're thinking about your 40s and your 50s. Now I want you to think about your 60s and your 70s and your 80s. Because I don't know about you, but I want to be active. I still want to be lifting. I want to be doing all of the things. As a grandma, or maybe even as a great grandma. I don't want to be spending my money in a doctor's office and living on medication. That's not the way that I want to live.
Right. I completely agree with you when it comes to resistance training. And no, you're not going to get bulky. Okay. You're not going to get bulky. Also, when you're building muscle takes time. It takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. What is a lifestyle? The style in which you live your life. It's in the name, lifestyle. Yeah. This isn't a diet. This isn't 75 hard. This isn't Slim and 6. I don't know, whatever programs, right? Whatever.
Love it.
Slim and 6, we can name them all, right? We can name them all. Yeah. But it's and I've had this conversation, I don't know if I've had it on the podcast, I've had it countless times. How much more time is going to go by? How much more time is going to go by without you making a decision and this is the way I want to live my life? Yeah. With intention, with purpose, with vision. This goes back to being a woman of vision. What do you value? I value quality time. I value being outdoors. I value being able to go on those hikes and, take that vacation and be active and all of those things. And I think walking is great too. Yes, go ahead, get your steps in. You want to throw on your weight vest? Get your weight vest walk on, girl. Do it. And even a 10 to 15 minute strength training workout. I don't know what to do. That we have run out of excuses because not only is ChatGPT at our fingertips, you can go on women's quick 15-minute workout on YouTube and you will find an infinite amount of videos. Yes. You can but I don't have weights. Go to Five Below, go to Marshall, spend $10, get a kettlebell.
Use your body.
Yes. Use your body, your body weight.
Have you ever tried to do a push-up? I mean, right. that's one of the hardest exercises.
I hate push-ups. They're the worst.
One, right? It's like,
Yes.
that's just your body weight. That's
Yes.
like, we have natural body. You're traveling in a hotel. Like there's so many things you can do in the hotel, even if the hotel doesn't have a gym. And you don't, like you said, you don't have to do it every day. Start with 3 times a week. 3 times a week for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Split it up before work and after work if you have to. Like, it doesn't have to look a certain way. You just have to do it. And
the best workout is the one you're going to do.
Yes. And, I don't like to use fear to motivate people, but my audience, a lot of the women that I work with, like I said, are in their 40s and 50s. And by the time they reach me, they have done everything they can on their own to try and get sleep through the night, to try and not wake up in a fog, to try and lose weight, to try and balance out their mood. I mean, you name it, right? And they're all in. I don't work with anybody who doesn't have a hormonal imbalance. And just because you're in perimenopause, by the way, doesn't mean that you have a hormone imbalance or menopause. There's lots of women that go through it without incident. I don't talk to them because the women that I talk to are all the ones that have, are dealing with hormonal issues. But it's a cautionary tale because, some of them I'm like, how are you able to even get through your day? And they're on multiple medications to balance their hormones. And it's not, the doctors say, oh, well, your levels are fine, but they don't feel fine. And it's kind of like looking into your future, like, you've got sliding doors. This is door number A. This is what your life could be, this cautionary tale, and having to be in this place and figure out how to recalibrate everything. Or door number 2 is, or I said A or B, 1 or 2, be proactive and plan and change your lifestyle now. So when perimenopause and menopause and postmenopause hit, it's not going to be this, gut punch. You're going to be prepared for it. You might have to make some additional changes, but you're already on that path, right? And things will go much more smoothly for you than had you waited until you were in the thick of it.
Right. And I think what a lot of women also express, and they feel like, well, I don't feel worth it. I don't feel worth, investing and putting myself first. And you are worth it. Your health is worth it. You are important. You matter. How you feel matters. The energy that you have in the morning. Imagine waking up feeling great. Imagine waking up with, again, vision and purpose, and being able to steward and move your body and honor your body. I think that I think a lot of the times when it comes to diet culture, it's you cannot hate yourself into this transformation. I hate this about myself. I hate this about myself. I wish I was this. And we can compare, right? You compare, well, it was so easier, or I thought I was fat back then. It's you know what I mean? I know you've heard that before. Couldn't I just go back to where I was then, when I can't believe I thought I was fat back then? And we pick ourselves apart, and it's again, as we're aging, it's a part, I mean, culturally, and even with our society, you get shunned if you look like your age. It's I don't want to look like my age. I don't want those wrinkles. I don't want this. I don't want this. It's an honor. It's we have to be able to shift our perspective, and it's not you versus your 20-year-old self or 30-year-old self or 40-year-old self. It's not you versus, oh, I just want to get back to where I was before I had children, or before I did this, before. That time has come and gone. You have to look at who you are now and who you want to be, because you can't change what took place before, right? You can't change that. And you've never been the age that you are, whether you're in your 30s or 40s or 50s or 60s. You've never been this version of yourself. So will you accept who you are right now with grace? Will you love yourself today enough to love the future you? Because in order for you to love the future you can't be like, I'm going to wait until this time and then I'll fully accept myself.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
No.
Two quick things to that. Number 1 is, okay, this might just be me, but I think all women want to look hot. I think we all have that, we want to look in the mirror and feel good about ourselves. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't care if you're 14 or 84, we want to look hot. Now, we've got to be realistic, right? Without, intensive plastic surgery, how young we can look. But I will tell you that going back to resistance training, another plug for resistance training is if you want to reverse your age, resistance training is like the only thing that I know of that actually can reverse, not your chronological, but your biological age.
Mm-hmm.
You can have the insides of somebody 10 years younger through resistance training and through eating healthy. So number one, you can start reversing your age internally. And believe me, that has an effect. You want tighter skin, get more lean muscle mass, change your body composition. You don't need Botox. Like you will get tighter just by doing resistance training. Your hair, the way that when you change the way that you eat and eliminate a lot of sugars and things like that, your hair, your complexion. Oh my gosh. Like if you're dealing, I just did an episode on like cystic acne, which is really, really prevalent in perimenopause. It's like you start changing certain things that your lifestyle. You don't need spironolactone where that helps reduce your elevated androgens, but you need to go get a blood test every month to make sure that your potassium levels are okay. It's like you don't need all of this synthetic intervention. Your body can actually heal itself and keep yourself fit and young naturally. So that's the first plug. And then the second thing is I would say is, I'm glad we're able to have this conversation because I don't really talk about this on my podcast, is, who you are as being God's child. We've got to take that same standpoint and look at what would we say if our daughter said to us, I'm not worthy.
Right.
Like, what are you talking about? What do you mean you're not worthy? You're not worthy to take the time, of course, right? And that's how God looks at it. I mean, God created us and God looks down. And when he hears this, he's like, whoa, wait a minute. I created you. And now you're telling me what I created is messed up? No. So we have to get aligned in our faith and knowing who we are and whose we are.
Yes.
When that gets difficult, put on the parent hat. And if you don't have a daughter, maybe you have a niece or a cousin or, a next door neighbor or something. Like, what would you say to her? Is she worth it? And I think if we are able to take ourselves out of it, we'd be like, well, I would never tell my daughter that, or I would never tell my best friend that. It's like, yeah, but you have no problem having that conversation in your head. Which, by the way, those thoughts aren't from God. P.S. God would never say anything to you like that. So that's your first clue that this probably isn't accurate. It's probably a lie, right? So sometimes it's easier to believe the lies, and I get that. But I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to look hot and be pretty and feel attractive to, your husband and fit into, cute clothes. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Everything, for the most part, to a certain degree, is reversible. You just got to take the steps to move forward.
You got to start.
So there you go. A crash course in some of the crazy perimenopause symptoms no one ever prepared you for, right? I hope this episode gave you a little more clarity about what's really happening to our midlife bodies and why. And speaking of clarity, don't forget to take my free hormone symptom profile assessment. You can take it right now at bit.ly/takemyhormone-quiz. Then join me back here next Tuesday for the final episode in my What I Wish I Knew at 40 series, where I'm breaking down how simple, everyday stress can keep the scale and our bodies stuck in survival mode. Until next week, wishing you health, happiness, and fewer hot flashes. Hey, friend. Can I call you friend? Because I already feel like we're friends in my head. Did this podcast teach you something, make you laugh, or feel less like an alien? If so, I would be so incredibly grateful if you could take just 60 seconds to rate, review, and subscribe. That is the number one way you can thank me and support the show. Until next week, stay cool and keep away from sharp objects.